Welcome back to First Horizons Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to another night of the 36th Annual Andrew Johnson Ladies Classic, or Andrew Johnson Bank Ladies Classic recap show. We'll go through all 9 games today. Jam-packed day of action. We get a day off tomorrow before we hit it again on Monday with 9 more games. As always, I'm Tyler, joined here with Matthew Palazzo. Matthew, you saw some great games today.
Yeah.
I saw some great games. Let's go through them all. 9 games today. Started bright and early this morning. Had a great game with Cherokee and Tennessee High. 2 3A teams that could potentially see each other down the road in the playoffs, and they saw each other early. Tennessee High comes back from 16 down to take the win. So started off with some fireworks today on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's exactly what we described it to be, a war coming in, and it was a battle back and forth. Addie Wilhoit, 26 points for Tennessee High. She continues to play well this tournament. Kennedy Deal, even though she goes down with an injury late, still puts up, at that point in the day, what was a tournament high in 30 points. And so it was fun to see that battle back and forth. Credit Tennessee High completing the comeback.
And yeah, we had 4 30-point games today, and we'll get to all of them too, but I think Kennedy had 24 at halftime and gets up to 30 before she suffers an injury and goes out in the third. And you always wonder what happens if that doesn't happen, if she doesn't sustain the injury. And I mean, that really messes the flow up with a team though. I mean, whenever you have a player that's dropping 30 in the third quarter, you really don't know how to respond towards that. But that's a young Cherokee team.
Resilient too.
Yes. Resilient young Cherokee team that will definitely bounce back. But you go after that game with Cherokee and
Grace Christian and
then you go into the Grace Christian game, and that's a team that looks really good right now. I mean, that's a team that looks like they could make it out of their side of the bracket and make it to the championship game. It was kind of surprising yesterday that Cherokee was able to only get beat by 2 points to that talented Grace Christian team, but then Grace Christian comes in today and beats Spring Valley out of West Virginia and beats them by 15 and beats them pretty convincingly.
Yeah, and it was their stars coming out too. Addie Roberts, Nia Burns teaming up for 47 points today. Burns with 23, Roberts with 24. But the thing that jumped off the page to me, Spring Valley 1 of 8 from the 3-point line. I don't think we're going to see that poor of a performance from them again. Sophie Hutchison still finishes with 15 points. But like you said, Grace, very talented team. They're going to be hard to beat, and that sets up an incredible matchup in that second round we'll get to here shortly too.
Absolutely, and then looking forward to the third game on the day, Bearden and Coalfield. 2 very talented teams in their respective classifications. Coalfield, a Final Four team in Class 1A last year. Bearden, a Final Four team in Class 4A. And I think down the stretch, you just saw the difference between a 4A basketball team and a 1A basketball team.
Yeah, very well put. Bearden, tremendous size, tremendous depth, and when you got a Missouri signing on your team, makes life pretty easy for you at times. And Natalia Hodge continues that run of 30-point scores here today and put together great performance. We've seen Bearden come in and play great basketball at the Classic, so no stranger to that, but was really surprised with the final number being 20.
No stranger to Natalia Hodge 30-point games in the Ladies Classic also. She's put in a pair before and may not be the last that she puts up either because we'll talk about the matchup later, and I think a lot of Greenville fans are ready for that matchup too because it'll be a rematch between Greenville and Bearden. They'll see each other 3 times now that they have a head-to-head, and then they'll have the Ladies Classic game coming up on Monday. Coalfield, just a tough game for them coming off of such a great win over Tennessee High, who's a very talented 3A team. But if you're Coalfield, you can't hang your head about it too much because it's just hard to be a 1A team to beat a 4A team.
Yeah, and Maddie Beard, she had a great game today too. 18 points on 6 3-pointers. Yes. We've seen a couple players just today hit 6 3-pointers, and that's, I think, second highest total in a single game in Ladies Classic history. But they've got players, Lily Claire Lau and Lily Right. Yeah, she had another good game today too. So they've got players, and they can contend with teams in higher classifications, but Bearden just too much to handle today.
And then after that, we go to Upperman and Gaffney, and Upperman just pulls away, 61-34. Upperman flexing their muscles early into this tournament. And whenever, I don't know if any of these teams kind of take it personal when they welcome an out-of-state team into Tennessee, but it almost looked like Upperman did because they started hot from the beginning and never let off the gas on their way to a pretty convincing victory.
Yeah, and I got numbers here. Upperman, to begin the game, they started on an 18-6 run. They ended the game in that fourth quarter on an 18-5 run.
Okay.
So they outscored Gaffney 36-11 in the the first and the last quarters of the game, and that's just hard to overcome. If you're a team from out of state playing your first game, and Upperman, they did what they do best. Great defense. They leaned on it. The three-point shooting wasn't there for them today. They were just 4 of 22 from behind the arc. But what they lacked in three-point shooting, they made up for in great defense today.
And then the notes I had here, Gaffney played competitively in the second and third, only losing by 2 points in the second and third quarters. But Upperman wins the quarters that matter the most. They start out hot in the first, and then they end it with a run in the fourth that puts it away. And then moving forward after that one, you had the one that a lot of people's eyes were on that I think I may have named as the game that I was looking forward to the most, and that was Daniel Boone and J.L. Man. What a fast-paced game that was. Just a track meet back and forth, and you saw two solid performances by Andrea Flores and Aaliyah Story, the Mississippi State commit, and the Chattanooga commit. Both had 20-point double-doubles. You had a great performance from J.L. Man also. I mean, you saw, she has 29 points, so she leads all scorers. So great performances in that game, but Daniel Boone again showing why they're a top 3 team in 3A.
Absolutely, and 3A continues to just get better and better. We've seen it throughout this tournament. I was really surprised with Story today. 17 rebounds, and you can see the level of play. I mean, we saw her last year at Crockett, but the transition to Boone this season, she's taken so many strides, and she looks like such a better player too. So really, really pleased with the improvement throughout the offseason from Aaliyah Story. Andrea Flores does Andrea Flores things, and Jade Hellstock continues to be my most underrated player in the tournament.
And I think Aaliyah Story having 17 rebounds, I just found it right here. 23 is the tournament record. So, I mean, when you're right there next to it, that's pretty impressive. 6th all-time is 19. So, Aaliyah Story having a top 10 rebounding performance in this Story tournament's history. And we'll get into some other performances too, because there's definitely some more historic performances from today. But if you're that Daniel Boone team, you got to feel good about your chances going forward, because, I mean, they're in the tougher side of the bracket, but they look good at the moment.
Yeah, and they just look like a buzzsaw, and a couple of these teams they've played before in this bottom side of the bracket, so that'll be interesting to see if they run into one later down the stretch. But big time matchup coming up. I think everybody's eyes are kind of pointing towards that quarterfinal round.
Absolutely. And then the next game, you get Albertville out of Alabama defeating Morristown West 71-61. Looked like early in the first quarter that it might become a blowout, and then Morristown West actually draws it back in to a tie until Albertville hits a shot right before the buzzer to send it into halftime at a 2-point margin. But Albertville, another great performance from another Mississippi State commit, Lainey Smallwood. She started out with 13 points on 5 of 6 shooting in the first quarter, cooled down a little bit in the second and only hit 1 shot in the second, and then finished with 34 points and was 5 of 10 from 3. And it's hard to stop that. It really is. And she proved why she's one of the best players in this year's edition of the Ladies Classic.
Yeah, and Albertville, a team everybody circled coming in, knew they were going to be good. The prominence in their home state of Alabama, 7A, a much larger classification than Morristown West, and thought they came out on fire. But credit to Morristown West, they come back, they make it a game all the way into the fourth quarter. It's a 1-possession game, but I think the trend of Tennessee over non-out-of-state teams came to an end in that game, and that really flipped a switch, because up until that point, Tennessee versus out-of-state was 3-0, and that Albertville win sparked a 2-0 run that the out-of-state teams would go.
Oh, nice stat right there. And looking at other stats also, that game had 3 solid performances. You talk about Lainey Smallwood, because she was able to have 34 points, which at that point led the day. We talked about Kennedy Dill and then Natalia Hodge having 30, 33, and then Smallwood comes along with 34. But let's look at Miley Butler. She was 1 assist away from a triple-double, 13 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists. And then you look on the other side of the court down here with Janiah Mitchell, and she has a 28-point double-double. So 3 solid performances in that game. That was a really fun game to watch, because it seemed like it was going to be a blowout. Morristown West made it competitive, and you just saw 3 girls that just played their absolute best.
And Janiah Mitchell, too, one of my favorite players to watch. We've seen her growth, much like Stories, year in and year out.
Right.
Here she is in her senior year, and she just looked incredible. Like you said, 28 points. And you can tell that she's coming into her own as a senior now, that 28-point double-double.
And then moving into one of the more competitive games that saw arguably the best performance of the day. Farmington out of Arkansas defeats Alcoa 72-61. Interesting enough, I believe that's Alcoa's first loss in their Ladies Classic history, because this is only their second Ladies Classic, and they won the first one they competed in 2022. But sophomore Easton McCullough, I mean, what a player 37 points. It looked like for a minute that she was certain to get to 40, but she does what all good ball handlers and good point guards do. She doesn't force shots. She started finding other players. Unfortunately, those assists weren't falling for her. She was short of a double-double, but 37 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds, and was 14 of 24 from the field.
Two crazy things about that stat line, because her season high is 56.
Yes.
So her 37 she put up today, even though it's the top 10 in ladies classic history, still 20 points shy from her season high. Second crazy thing that I was told from her dad later in that game, in the third quarter, she needed 30 tonight to reach 1,000 points. She is 7 games into her sophomore year, and she already has 1,000 points. Just an incredible outing. It seemed like that run in that second quarter, she had 20 points in that second frame, but every single shot she was putting up was going in, and it really propelled Farmington to that big surge they needed to kind of distance themselves enough.
Yeah, and shout out to Easton McCullough one more time, because, like you said, 2 historic moments in her career, reaching 1,000 points early into her sophomore year, and with those 37 points, she now joins the top 10 single-game scoring list in ladies classic history with that 37-point performance, and we've seen a lot of those over the last few years. Harping, I think, has 2 of those in the top 10. I think Natalia Hodge has one of those in the top 10. I believe Andrea Flores has one of those. And now, now Easton McCullough adding her name to that list, and just being the second day of the ladies classic, I don't think it'll be the last 30-point game we see either. And we're starting to see a lot of players reach 40, so I'm hoping we see at least one 40-point performance. But looking at Alcoa too, Briley Flatt leads with 17 points, and then Gwen Carroll, great performance, 15 points, and she corralled in 12 rebounds for a double-double. Alcoa was one of those teams, kind of like Morristown West, where it looked like for a minute Farmington might run away, but they made it a competitive game down the stretch.
And that's the thing with Coach Bauman's ball clubs. They're going to make things competitive. They're going to compete from the first to the last whistle, and they showed that tonight, you know, from Flatt hitting down those shots and Carroll being absolutely automatic from anything within the three-point arc. I mean, there's a stretch, 5 or 6 shots, same spot on the floor, and you just know that they're going to go in the moment they leave their hand.
And looking at that second quarter, the second quarter was the difference in that game. Farmington outscoring Alcoa 27-15, so that's a 12-point quarter and ends up being an 11-point final. So Alcoa just as good outside of that one corner. And then moving into Knox Webb and Cott County, I think maybe the game that you had your eye on from yesterday. And Cott County for a moment looked really good, held a 25-22 lead at the break and surprised many, and they just weren't able to keep that up in the third quarter. Carmichael getting into a little bit of foul trouble, spending time on the bench. Webb, of course, doing what good teams do, taking advantage of that, and they ended up regaining the lead and then getting to the finish line first. Yeah,
game of ebbs and flows. It felt like it was anybody's game heading into that final quarter, but you said it earlier, the most important quarter, that final one, Webb able to just put the pieces together. Cott County with some mistakes. Knox Webb struggling from the free throw line, but able to turn over Cott County enough to get some points off of turnovers. Shout out Zaniah Rocket, 5 steals for my early selection for defensive MVP. She was fantastic all night long. And Mia Green, even though started slow, able to pick things up later in that game and put together 15 points.
Yeah, talking with Tate Russell, I think she had 4 points at halftime, which may be a season low for halftime scoring for Green, because not often are you going to see her be held to 4 points. But again, Carmichael comes out of the game in the third quarter. They take advantage of it. It's just what good teams do. And if you're Cott County, I mean, you still look at this as very encouraging, even though a lot of teams and coaches don't like to take moral victories out of things. You still take things away. And to be able to be competitive with Webb, who, I mean, if you look at their resume here in our program, a team that was the Division II 2A state champions last year and had a 25-3 record, and you had a halftime lead and only lost by 6 with your best player in foul trouble, that's encouraging.
Yeah. And that's a team in Webb. They return almost all their production from a year ago, including Miss Basketball and Mia Green. So very tough opponent. And Cott County, they returned a lot too. So you prove that you can contend with the very best in another classification above you.
Yeah, and if I'm a 3A team, I'm scared of that.
Yeah.
Moving into the last game, our own 3A team. We're sitting here on the court here at Hal Henard Gymnasium. The Greenville Lady Green Devils get to recap night 2, or cap off night 2 with a game against North Hardin out of Kentucky, and they took it to them in the second quarter. North Hardin, I think, holds a 3-point lead going into the second quarter. Greenville takes advantage going into halftime, and then coming out in the second half, started playing Lady Green Devil basketball and took the win home on the first night.
Yeah, and that was a game super sloppy first quarter, but you could tell whenever Greenville starts to click, whenever Lyde is on and Tulloch is on, and tonight Jordan Swatzel was on, so there was another in the fold. Whenever they gel as a crew and Julia Woolsey's making plays, they're going to be hard to beat. And when everybody's hitting shots and everybody's doing their role like you saw tonight in the last 3 quarters, they're going to be hard to beat in this tournament, and that showed tonight in that win over
North Harding.
And North Harding, good team. They were losing probably their best player, 6'1" senior, on the sideline with a boot. So hoping that she can get back before the tournament's end, but still not to take anything away from that win for Greenville.
And I joked with Greenville's assistant coach, Zach Holt, before the game that we had seen 4 30-point games. I think somebody from your team needs to continue that trend. Who's it going to be? And he said, we've got 2 that can do it, but you saw 3 that could do it tonight because you had 3 players that scored 19 plus.
Yeah.
You had Jordan Swatzel, who led them with 22 points on 6 of 10 shooting from the 3-point line, and then you have Julia Woolsey and Briley Tulloch, who each had 19. Looking at Tulloch's stat line too, 19 points with 7 rebounds and 6 assists. Terrific night from all 3 of those girls that really picked up the slack when Maria Lyde kind of had a tough night down low.
Yeah, and I think Brian said it on the broadcast tonight too. New career best for Julia, new career best I believe for Jordan as well. And so even when Maria's in that foul trouble, for you to have girls to come off, or not off the bench in this case, but just to step up and fill those roles and fill those points, it takes your team to another level.
And it's encouraging for Coach Watts too, because the last time that I witnessed a Greenville game was the Westridge game when Mariah was in foul trouble, and then Allison Hayes steps off the bench, scores 10 in a row, and wheels them back from a double-digit deficit all the way to I think just a 2-point deficit. So for Greenville, that's clutch. That whenever one of your players get in foul trouble, you have all of those players that can step up at any time, and you've got some like Matea Gray, who you don't need to overlook too, because she's a sneaky player with her speed that can get free real quick and get past the defense and get to the hole. So if you're Greenville, you're looking at today's win as kind of an encouraging game, because now I think that puts you on a little bit of a winning streak, bridging from the Doc Maples tournament now to the Ladies Classic, and you get every game here at home too. So they're feeling pretty good now going into a rematch with Bearden here on their home court. We'll talk about all those games in the back half though, but it's halftime for us. We've recapped the first half, so we'll go ahead and preview all of day three's action on Monday right after this short message here on First Horizon's Green Sports Zone.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
Family owned, community loved. More than ink and paper, it's precision. Performance. And pride in every project. Always on time, expertly equipped, locally owned. And something new is on the way. Ready for your next big project? Artistic Printers, where quality meets creativity.
You get what you'd expect. Games, gimmicks, and shady sales tactics. At Gateway Nissan in Greenville, expect the unexpected. Low prices, convenient service, and a great buying experience.
Get our Gateway exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty.
No worries for life.
You deserve the unexpected. It's the #1 reason you gotta get to Gateway.
Shop online at GatewayNissanGreenville.com.
Or take the super short drive down Highway 11E to Gateway Nissan in Greenville.
In a world that moves fast, there's a place that slows down for good food and good company, where the folks know your name and the food's made from scratch, just like Grandma used to do it. Steak and gravy every day, Friday night fish fry, and prime rib on Saturdays. Burgers stacked high, and sides you'll talk about till next Thursday. And yes, save room for the scratch-made desserts, especially that Heath Bar Gooey. Gathering Place Cafe, homemade, hometown, Greenville's favorite scratch-made table.
At Marathon Quick Stop Markets, you'll find a company that realizes that our customers are our biggest assets. We are a locally owned company, proud to serve our community. So we do everything with you in mind. We clean and sanitize our stores, provide a well-lit, monitored area to keep you and your family safe. You can always expect a friendly staff and a large selection of products with weekly specials. Stop in at a nearby Marathon Quick Stop Market today.
This holiday season, give the gift of glow with Merle Norman Cosmetics. Discover our new shades of natural lip oil and lip pencil plus, perfect for creating timeless holiday looks. Explore our beautiful new gift sets ready to make everyone on your list feel special. For over 90 years, Merle Norman has been inspiring beauty across generations. Locally and female-owned and operated, you're more than a customer, you're the heart of what we do. Merle Norman Cosmetics, where beauty feels like home. 819 Tusculum Boulevard in Eastgate Shopping Center.
Tommy's Plumbing has been in business for 30 years, and we're still growing because we treat our customers like family. We are proud to do any job from kitchen faucet installation to a complete home repipe. Tommy's Plumbing offers warranties on most products installed by our technicians. When the job is done, our friendly professionals make sure to clean up. We invite you to visit our new showroom in Jonesboro to see our quality products for yourself. Tommy's is the only one to call when you need a fast, reliable, professional plumber in the Tri-Cities.
Welcome back to First Horizons Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to the second half here of the 36th annual Andrew Johnson Bank Ladies Classic recap show. We went through all of day two's action. We'll preview day three now. Of course, I'm Tyler, here with Matthew Palazzo here at beautiful Hal Henard Gymnasium, and we've had a very good time so far in this place. Only 2 days in so far, seen every team play once, some twice. We've got some tournament favorites. Some of those tournament favorites will be sent into the losers bracket. Let's talk about those games. Not making any predictions. I don't ever like to make predictions on here, but I do like to talk about each of the games and who we favor in those games. Looking at the first game, we've got two county teams to start off the day on Monday. We've got Chucky Doak and North Green starting off bright and early at 9 a.m. to start off the 9-game slate on Monday. It'll be unfortunate for both of those teams because we talked about it last night after the day one recap, is that they will play each other on Monday, then turn right around and play each other on Friday again, because that's how they scheduled each other in the regular season. So if you're both teams, I don't know if you really treat this game like a normal game. You almost want to go to each other and do what Coach Alan Tolliver and Coach Terry Hosey did
exactly at
Cherokee and say, hey, let's just treat this as a scrimmage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very well could be. I mean, you're playing each other that close together. You might, I mean, you know Coach Buchanan, you know Coach Early, they're going to want to win the game, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just a funny wrinkle in the schedule. And for the third time in less than a month, too, it's just very interesting.
And then going to the 10:30 a.m. game, we've got Gaffney out of South Carolina, and then we've got Alcoa. So looking at that, Alcoa has looked really solid so far. Only seen Gaffney once, but seeing Alcoa twice so far, they look comfortable out here in Hal Henard.
Yeah, they do, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's a get-back game of sorts for Alcoa. Coming into tonight, they were 8-0 when they scored 60 or more points. Tonight, they had 59 with 3 seconds left, and then they hit that shot right before the buzzer. So I think offensively, they'll look to kind of get back to where they were before. And Farmington's a high-powered offense, but I expect them to hold Gaffney a little bit less than what we saw tonight from Farmington's 70+. So if Alcoa can tighten up that defense a little bit, get back to their regular number, I think that'll bode well for them.
Looking at the noon game next, Game 3 on Monday, we'll have the loser of the Greenville-North Hardin game and the loser of the Bearden-Coalfield game, which was North Hardin squaring off against Coalfield. And speaking of Coalfield, in the back half, how they had a really quality win over a high-quality 3A opponent in Tennessee High, and then a loss to a high-quality opponent in Bearden. This is a good game for them to kind of get their confidence back, too, with North Hardin on Monday.
Absolutely. And those are two teams that send a bunch of full court pressure, and so that'll be a high octane style of matchup as well. We'll see if Scott's ready to go for Game 2 here in the Ladies Classic. I think that would help North Hardin out a lot. But their guard too, Alana DeBose, very good player. That'll be an excellent matchup. Could prove problematic for Coalfield, who struggled with Hodge, and I think DeBose is a great player, but that's a fun one to watch at that 1:30 slot.
And then moving into the next game, you've got Cott County squaring off against J.L. Mann, and that's an intriguing matchup because you've got J.L. Mann who likes to run the floor just like Daniel Boone did, and you've got Cott County who likes to sit back on defense and kind of turn the pressure up on you. So a very intriguing matchup that we'll see there at 1:30 between Lady Red and J.L. Mann.
Yeah, score prediction, not picking a winner. It's going to be a 49-45 game. It's just one of those games. Coach Bible is going to turn down that pressure, and I think they're going to get it into those half-court sets, kind of like we saw Cott County try to do against Webb, but I think they could be a little bit better at doing it against some closer competition. And we'll see Hillstock in her second game, which will be fun, and we'll see, of course, Carmen Carmichael in her third game of the tournament. So the Stars will be out in that. I see that as the best losers bracket game on Monday.
Absolutely, I would agree with you. And then looking at the 3 o'clock game, which rounds out the loser bracket games, we'll have Spring Valley out of West Virginia, and then we'll have Morristown West. And again, just like Coalfield, that's another great game for Morristown West to get your confidence back and take a win out of one of those out-of-state opponents. And Morristown West looked solid. Albertville being a very quality squad and then being able to keep it competitive the whole way. So for Morristown West, of course, for them on Monday at 3, they're looking to get back in the win column, but looking to get back their confidence too.
Yeah, absolutely. And Spring Valley, you said Morristown West getting back the confidence. Spring Valley is just trying to get a rhythm. They've had a lot of games canceled due to snow, and I think tonight was just their 4th game all season. So looking to get a rhythm offensively, get things going. You're playing your second game in 3 days. And Morristown West, can you get in that win column and avoid falling that 9 o'clock slate that you've always played in here in the Ladies Classic? So that's another fun matchup as well. I think it'll be a good one to watch.
And then going into the winners bracket, these are the 4 games that everybody will be in attendance for. Starting off at 4:30, Greenville starts their first day on Saturday night in the main event, and will start as, I guess, the beginning of the main card on Monday at 4:30. They'll face Bearden in that rematch, and that's the one that I kind of want to talk about the most, just because, of course, Greenville in our coverage area and Bearden being a rematch for them. So I think for Greenville, of course, it's shutting down Natalia Hodge, but that's better said than done. But with Bearden, they've got more than just Hodge out there too. So, I mean, if you're Greenville, what are you looking to do to be able to contain them on offense?
Well, it starts with the rebounding battle. Earlier this season, Lady Devils kind of struggled just contending with the size sent by Bearden, and large part of that was due to Maria's foul trouble. But Theola Mills snatching 17 rebounds that first matchup with Greenville. I think it's contending with the size, keeping Maria out of foul trouble, and then somehow, as much as you can, limit Natalia Hodge. Maybe you hold her to under 30, and I think that gives you the best chance of winning.
And another thing, too, is there's 2 key differences in those games. One, being the first game of the year, you're throwing players out there and throwing lineups and rotations out there that it's new. I spoke about it with Coach Watts, I think, twice in 2 of our 3 coach shows this year. You don't know the feel of a team yet. It's a brand new team every single year. So with that first game, you don't know what you're throwing out there. You're bringing in the transfer of Briley Tulloch. You're bringing in new freshmen that can give you something. You're mixing all of those together with some players that have had chemistry all the way back when they played each other from elementary school. So that's number 1. And number 2, you're always better on your home floor too. So I don't think Greenville will have as tough of a time with Bearden. I mean, a lot of people probably don't like their chances in this game, but I think Greenville can actually make some noise in this game to start out the winners bracket games.
I can promise you one thing, it's going to be closer than that first matchup.
I agree.
For a lot of those reasons you mentioned.
I agree. And then looking at the next game too, the 6 o'clock game will be contested between Upperman and Farmington out of Arkansas, and that one will be a barn burner too, because we saw McCullough score 37, but you've got Dana McWilliams, who's just a terrific coach down there at Upperman. So if there's a few coaches in here that I would say they could limit a player in scoring, Dana McWilliams is one of them.
Absolutely, and that's going to be probably the most three-pointers combined, either made or attempted. It's got to be in Ladies Classic history. That's 2 3-and-D type teams. Was really impressed the way Farmington ran the floor in day one action, so that'll be something to watch too against an Upperman team. So the Farmington speed, the Farmington size, how will Upperman be able to combat that and maybe look to slow the Lady Cardinals down?
And then looking at 732, a very intriguing matchup, Grace Christian and Albertville out of Alabama. Albertville, of course, having a Mississippi State commit, and then Grace Christian, a team that has 4 players with D1 offers that are looking really good so far. Nia Burns has looked solid so far in this tournament, but you can't overlook Albertville and everything that they've done so far too. So I don't really know of a game. I do know of a game that I'm looking forward to first, and we'll talk about it here in a minute, but outside of those other 3 games, they all look so solid because you can't really pick a team to come out of those games because they all look so evenly matched.
Yeah, and Grace Christian too. I mean, I talked about it last night. I think they have the best talent profile in the tournament, but Albertville maybe has the best player in the tournament, right? And so how do you target that one player compared to 4 on Grace Christian's side? And Grace Christian too, I think they've played the most complete as a team, 4-quarter efforts in their 2 games in the Ladies Classic. We saw Albertville today kind of struggle to put away Morristown East. So can they put a 4-quarter effort in? And I think if they do, that might be the game of the day.
That's a good point because Albertville is one of those teams that they're not going to go away. Albertville staved off the comeback attempt from Morristown West. Grace Christian, they didn't have that problem. They did that with Cherokee day 1, but if Grace Christian gets out ahead and Albertville is forced to come back from behind, we've not seen that scenario yet in this tournament, so you don't know. But if you're Grace Christian and you're trailing Albertville, knowing what Morristown West did today, I think you feel a little better about your chances if you're Grace Christian.
Yeah, absolutely. I would too.
And then looking at the game that I kind of referred to, I think everybody's looking forward to this game. You look at the main event.
Put an asterisk next to it, circle it. By all means, get here at 9 o'clock on Monday.
Looking at Monday night's game, you will have Knox Webb squaring off against Daniel Boone. You have, according to Max Preps, the number 2 team within the state in Class 3A, and then you've got the defending Division II 2A state champions in Webb. A heavyweight matchup that you could honestly say maybe should be the championship game, and definitely a championship caliber game. I mean, expect nothing else but fireworks.
And I was looking at that matchup as a potential coming in, and I think they always say hindsight's 20/20. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to February and we look up at the rafters and we see Daniel Boone and obviously Knox Webb both winning their respective state titles. I mean, that's how good these 2 teams are, and the talent on the floor is just going to be incredible. Knox Webb has 1 through 5 talent all across the board, and Daniel Boone has a star-studded roster as well, of course headlined by Flores, but that is going to be a sight to behold. Flores versus Green, going to be the individual matchup of the tournament, in my opinion.
Absolutely, and I would not be surprised, like you said, either of both of these teams go on to win their respective state championships, and we get it in the quarterfinals.
Yes.
What a treat for us. 9 o'clock here on Monday, and speaking of Monday, it rhymes with something.
Yes, Radio Greenville Fun Day, Monday, come out, bring the family. We'll start in games 2. We'll probably go until that 8th game of the day. We'll be handing out Marathon Quick Stop Market gift cards. If you want some free gas, come on out to Hal Henard Gym. Bring the kids. We'll have them shoot at halftime. Saw a couple of our contestants here earlier today, and hoping to get them back on the floor, and maybe you too on Monday. So come out. Radio Greenville Fun Day. We'll be handing out Lady Vols tickets as well. Also we were at the Ladies Vols game the same time as a contestant that we had last year when we went a season ago. So it's fun for everybody. Bring them out. We'll hit some shots at it. We'll have some fun at halftime.
I'm looking forward to Monday. We get a break in between.
Yes.
It's kind of weird to get a break in between. I've asked some people who have been involved with the Ladies Classic over the years, and they said, you usually don't get that break, but it may be much needed because we're 2 days through so far. We feel good at the moment, but that's only 13 games in. We've got a lot of games left to go. We've got, I think, what is it, close to...
We had 37 total. I think we went 13 12 today,
so
right?
yeah,
Or 13 today?
Yeah.
Okay.
24 games left. So, yeah, so
a third
long
of the way
road
through.
ahead. We'll have 3 more days left with you here on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But unless you've got anything else to add, I believe that's all we've got from Day 2's action.
Oh, good.
All right,
Looking forward to it.
Day 2 recap and a Day 3 preview. Matthew, once again, appreciate you for joining me. Appreciate all of y'all for watching. We'll see you on Monday night here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone.